This is a video based off my experience of making music. Everyone's experiences are different, so just understand that with the kind of things that I'm saying in this video. So why you should go full time with making music. Now I get that for a lot of people this isn't even an option because of a variety of factors of living arrangements and finances, etc. However, there are ways to spend the amount of hours you do in a full-time job on music. A really good way of enabling yourself to do this while still making money is having another job like a delivery driver. Here in the UK you can work for Deliveroo, where you can decide when you work, how long you work for, exactly when you stop. In the US, I know you can do the same thing just for a couple of different companies. A job like that is ideal because it means you can fit it around the time you spend making music. So why I think you should try and go full time with making music is because it will completely transform the way that you work. When you're only able to work for a couple hours a day, if that, on music, it really boxes you in. And the key thing, it doesn't allow you to experiment or research things like content styles or beat styles because you've got a very limited time where you can actually make music and spend time on it. And it gives very little time for other hugely important things like making content or messaging producers and artists, etc. What I think is most important in becoming full-time as a producer is being disciplined and giving yourself a schedule and structure. Wake up at the same time every day. I'd recommend that being a similar time to people with most other jobs because that way you can balance other aspects of your life like seeing friends and family, exercising, and all the rest of it. Make music from a set time to another set time and then schedule what you're going to actually spend that time doing in those hours. A schedule is key because that way you can hold yourself accountable to what you were aiming to do and whether you actually did it. And when you schedule things down, it's a lot more visible what you're spending a lot of time doing and what you need to spend more time doing. An example could be that when you schedule your week out, you see that you're making beats for 8 hours in that week, but then you also see that you're only making content for 1 hour, editing for 1 hour, which just obviously isn't enough. So you can see that you need to spend more time doing the other stuff and trying to fit that in. However, if it really is just impossible to go full time with making music in terms of spending that amount of hours on it in a week, not necessarily earning that amount of money, I think to have doing music full time and living off it comfortably is a great goal to have because it means that becoming a music producer is made a lot more realistic and isn't this kind of arbitrary imaginary dream. Of course it is still a dream because we all dream of becoming music producers and that being our full-time living and income, but it's a dream which we can much easily work towards because we can put things in place to get us closer to making music full-time and that being the goal. And there are practices you can put in place, as I've mentioned, which can do that pretty quickly. I started music full-time at the beginning of September last year, 2023, and I'm going to be completely transparent with you. Right now, I'm not earning enough to live off it comfortably yet, but I also have another job which brings in enough money to kind of just keep me going. I'm hugely fortunate in that I live with my parents, so I don't have that many financial obligations, and I don't take that for granted for 1 second. But what I found from my own experience is that even though I'm not earning enough for it to be my full-time job and that be my only income, I can still do music full-time for the moment. Obviously that isn't sustainable for years to come, but for me it's about just giving it a go. And the main thing from this video that I want to say to you is just providing yourself with the opportunity for it to work and the opportunity to eventually be able to live off your music. I'll be honest, I look back at when I did music for a few hours a week and think, how on earth did I get anything done? Because now a whole day will fly by with something I'm working on and I'll just think, where did that time go? Let alone for a few hours a week. So really try to maximize the time you can spend on music in a week because otherwise you're not going to get anything meaningful done. I also want to say though, if you do spend a few hours a week or a day on music and you're completely happy with that and that's the amount of time you want to commit to it for the moment and that's okay with you, then that's absolutely fine and stick with that and that's great. But if you're making music a few hours a week and you don't want it to be that and you want it to be more, you want it to be your full-time job, then you've got to find ways to spend more time making music because it just isn't going to happen spending a few hours a week on it. Maybe you can maximize time spent on music by, instead of watching TV or YouTube, spending time then making music or waking up earlier to squeeze an hour or two in. Again, I don't want to seem ignorant to the fact that people's lives are difficult and busy and it is hard, but if you're unhappy with the amount of time that you're spending on music and you want it to be a full-time job, you've got to make things change. And the only way you do that is through changing the practices which you have. So this video is really just an encouragement for you to give music a go, try and make it full time, change the practices you have at the moment if you're not doing music and the business side of it enough, and maybe that's some of the examples I've mentioned in this video. But yeah, I just want to say that this is really just an encouragement to you to just give it a go. Let me know what your experience of this is in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.